happen.
All right, now library experiences. We have about 7 or 8 libraries here in Robinson County. Do you have any special recollections of libraries?
Oh gosh, yes. Yes. And in fact, I was telling someone recently, I still think, oftentimes in Dewey Decimal, those numbers and sections uh, in the library and those early memories of the school libraries and also the public library. I really loved reading biographies as a kid. And there's that one series, I don't know if they're still in the library, but the silhouette of the famous person on the spine of the book. And I loved that series. Oh, yep. I remember going, to get my library card at the old library.
Well, let me ask you for the last word. What would you like to leave your listeners with in terms of literature, uh, in terms of Robeson County, in terms of Bookham?
Ah, well, a huge thank you to Bookham. I am just a big fan of anything that happily brings a community together, and I think that that's what Bookham has done, and to come together, um, especially during times that have felt so difficult and divisive, to come together in the name of something as wonderful as literature, reading with children, supporting your library, supporting your community. Um, I can't think of anything I'm prouder uh, to be a part of. I also always tell my students I believe firmly in being who you are. I have a quote on the wall in my office here by the famous wonderful poet Seamus Heaney, who wrote "Sing yourself to where the singing comes from," and my singing comes from first my home there in Robeson County, those early childhood years. Um, I always tell my students, I think to forget what it feels like to be a child is to forget what it feels like to feel. And I think staying in touch with childhood memories and not taking for granted the things you learned keeps you in touch with who you were then and the importance of the learning every step of the way. Our little bags get packed early in life, and then we spend the rest of our lives unpacking and trying to understand what's in there. And so I think I would just end with the celebration of children and helping children to find those areas in life where they can feel proud of themselves and inspired um, to move forward.
Thank you, Jill. This is Jill McCorkle, a novelist that has written 11 books. And I am going to get the cheerleader because it sounds as if it's something I can discuss with my young adults in the family. And I'm also going to get hieroglyphics because it talks about the railroad. And as you know, there's railroad tracks throughout Robeson County.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Thank, thank you
Yes,
again.
indeed. I
Thank
grew
you
up
again.
right near some, and I love the sound of the train. So,
And on that note, I'm going to turn this over to Rebecca Lowry to close us out. And it was good to see you and good to talk to you again, Jill.
thank you so much. An honor to be here. And Diane, everyone, it's just wonderful to be a part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jill. And actually, we skipped over in the program, so we're going to actually Miss Diane Wolf is going to close us out, and Mamie Tubbs has already introduced her, and we actually showed your video while we were waiting, which was a wonderful video, and she's going to share with us her publishing tips. And I'm just going to give the floor to you so you can close us out. And thank you, Jill. And that was amazing, your presentation. So I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Wolf.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yes, you've already heard the entry. Yes, owner of Dancing Lemur Press and the imprint Freedom Fox Press. We have over 55 titles. Our authors are all over the world. We've got them here in North Carolina, but we've also got authors from Canada, Spain, England, Australia, Egypt. So we got some pretty exotic authors. And we've also got 12 or 13 of our titles available as audiobooks. I am going to talk a little bit about a couple of the books, but what I want to do is show you the publishing process. What happens from manuscript to the book? And let's see if I can get the screen to show up. There we go. We can all see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. We can see it.
I can't see you, so I just want to make sure everybody can see this. First thing that happens is an author has a written, polished manuscript. What do they do next? First thing they have to do is check the submission guidelines for all publishers. To make a list of all the publishers they're going to want to send it to, or agents. They need to go check the submission guidelines because they need to make sure, number one, they need to study to make sure this publisher accepts what they are sending in, what they have written, the genre, that they are accepting it now, they are looking for it now, and just to see also what other types of books that they have published. And then, of course, you want to check and make sure that's reputable. Well, once an author has made that list, got that, then there's a couple of forms that are very, very important. And I always joke, for poor writers, the most important thing in the world they will ever write is that query letter. Query letter is that's the first impression that an agent or publisher will see of an author before they see anything else. The first part they will see is that. So it needs to be sharp, to the point, one page. One page. If you have to say it more than one page, that's going too long. One page long, and it's got to reel it in. It's got to have a very short little, very, very tiny little synopsis in there that just, like the back cover blurb sort of thing. It just hooks whoever is reading it, be it an editor with a publishing company or the agent. They also need to get very good at writing the next two items. A synopsis is usually about 2 to 5 pages long, and it sums up the entire story. Now that's for fiction. An outline is what it would create for nonfiction. That's usually somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 pages long, breaking it down in small chunks, every single detail. And then a lot of times the author needs to also have a marketing plan, because a lot of small publishers, especially even some of the bigger ones, they're looking to see a marketing plan. They want to know, and it needs to be more than I'm going to promote it on Facebook and Twitter. It needs to be a one-page detailed marketing plan of exactly what they are able to do. Now, once the writer's got all this organized, then he needs to start sending out queries. And that's what we end up getting, our queries. Most places take them email now. Some still do snail mail. But the main thing is send exactly what the publisher has asked for. No more, no less. This is not the time to be sending them your whole entire manuscript. Usually they will say right there in the submission guidelines exactly what they want. They usually want like a query letter and the synopsis or the outline, and then they'll go from there. And also remember, unless they state they want something attached, do not attach. And also, do not mass email. You may think you're doing it faster, but each email, the query you're sending out, it needs to be personalized. So, like I said, when we get them in, if I see one that's a mass email, because we do get those sometimes, I don't even respond. Delete. Just delete instantly. And I'm sure all the other publishers on that list do the same thing. Now, the process, once we have that query, after that, we read it. And the next step there is we either reject it because it's just maybe not what we're looking for or whatever,
or we'll request a partial. Once we've read the partial is usually like the first 3 chapters. After we read the partial, then we will either reject it from there or request the full, and that's when we'll read the full manuscript. After that, one of 3 things will happen. We'll either reject the whole thing, we'll request changes, or we will offer a contract. Now, once we've got an author signed with the contract, the next part is the fun part of editing, and we will do several rounds. And most publishers will do many rounds and have several different editors, copy editor, content editor, and a lot of different editing. And it will go around several rounds of editing to get it to be polished, because it needs to be as good as possible. Even if the authors had it edited beforehand, we usually go through some more editing. Now, during that time, also, we start making a marketing plan. This is just show you the marketing plan, the artwork for Lost Helix, which just came out last year. We create the artwork for the front cover and the back cover, and we start designing up a marketing plan and exactly how we're going to market that book leading up to the release date and afterwards. And we work with the author because, of course, we do want a marketing plan from the author. So we work with them in their marketing of what they can do. After that, once the book is edited, it goes in to be formatted either as a hardback or paperback and as an ebook. It gets all formatted, gets a little cover on it so it looks nice. Then it goes to the printer and we get what we call review copies. As you can see right there on the back of that one, it says review copy. These go out and they go out to pre-publication reviewers, which would be like Publishers Weekly, Library Journal. They'll go out to book bloggers. They'll go out to both print and online reviewers as far as magazines or whatever. And they'll also go out to some other authors and what we call influential people. The whole goal of that is to get reviews. Now, during this time, usually those review copies will go out about 6, maybe 7 months before the book's released. During that time, we're really getting into the marketing. We're doing some marketing, getting stuff out there. We're starting to gather up the reviews as they come in. Here's a couple that we'd had for Bloodwalker, one of our best-selling books. And we start getting those. Now, the reviews are really, really important because those are used in the marketing material. They go on the back of the book for the print. They go on the inside for the ebook. They are just used everywhere because reviews really do sell books a lot more than just about anything else. And I can't stress enough to any author, the most important thing you can do is get reviews for your books. Now, we've got the reviews. We go through another round or 2 of editing just to make sure we catch everything. People are not perfect, and the greatest editor in the world is going to miss something. There's always a typo in the book. I always joke we're going to hold a contest that says find the typo for us because we know it's in there somewhere, but we try and get it as perfect as possible. Now, from there, it goes to the printer, and from that point, it goes out to the distributors and wholesalers who will distribute it, the ebook, to all the ebook places like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, for the Kobo, which is the chapters reader. That's the one in Canada, all over the world, and goes to all retail, both online and in the real world. And it might not just be a bookstore. It depends on the title where it's going to be fitting in best. Now we've got that, they're going out, and then the big part, release day. And release day is a lot of fun for the author because then they're doing a lot of events, both physical and online. They get to go out and do talks at schools. We have a lot of authors that do some really great talks at schools. Like at the very beginning of this bookum, you heard Sherry Ellis. She is one of my best authors. She's one of my authors, as a matter of fact, but she does the most fantastic job with doing her real world stuff, going out there to schools. You'll talk at bookstores. You will talk at libraries. You can do seminars. More authors that can really good at promoting. Now, I have one author who doesn't do hardly anything real live. He does a lot online, and as a result, he is one of our best-selling authors. And I'm just going to show you a couple of our titles because we're really excited. This one just came out. If you're looking for a young adult book for boys, we know how tough that is to find them for boys. But The Window is a really creepy little paranormal type of young adult book, but again, geared towards boys. My author who does almost all his online stuff and promoting is Alex J. Kavanaugh. He's got several books with us, and as a result, he's our best-selling author. Here's our next one coming out, Blood Red Sand. This is the second book for Damien. He's our Irish author. Like I said, we've got them from all over the world. So we are really, really excited about having that one. I also wanted to show this one just because this is one of our North Carolina authors. This is He Gave Me Barn Cats. This is one of our Christian fiction titles because we have a big variety. We have everything from science fiction and fantasy, which is pretty much our bestseller. Next in line is our middle grade, and we have both for boys and for girls. And of course, at the beginning of this, you saw Sherry with her Bub and Squirt books. We'd have young adult. We have some thrillers and mysteries. Madawak, she's Jolene's one of my Canadian authors. We also have a Christian line, and we have some nonfiction. And in addition, we got some books if you are looking at writing. Keep Writing with Faye. And then, of course, I have one myself. People ask, do you write? Not much anymore, but this one is actually one I had put together, How to Publish and Promote Your Book Now, based on 2 seminars that I teach through the community colleges on book publishing, and the second one's on book promoting and book marketing. And I finally, after years, put it together in book form, which everybody was asking for. But like I said, a lot of this is just, what I do is a ton of fun as far as a publisher. I do it because I love my authors. I love promoting them. I love the joy. There's one group, the Insecure Writer Support Group, that does an anthology, and through Freedom Fox, we publish their anthology. They have a contest every year, and usually there's 10 authors in that. And the neatest thing is every single year, there's at least one author among them never had anything published before, is so, you can just tell, so excited and thrilled and just can't wait to get their review copy and get their copies and sell them to people. And that is just that joy. I feed off of that. I really love it when, my authors get excited when something really good happens. The one book you saw at the very end there, Music Boxes, that came out last year, and in the middle of summer, right in the beginning of summer, Barnes & Noble had this big, huge article talking about it was one of the top 5 spooky campfire chills for kids. And she'd let me know, she found it first, and she was so excited. And it was just that thrill of, oh my gosh, because here was 4 books that were all with one of the big 5 publishers, and then there's her little music boxes right in the middle of it all. So things like that, I really feed off of that kind of excitement. And of course, I want them to sell books so they can make some money, and of course, so we can too. And we also do promotional materials and stuff for all of them. There's a sticker we did for Damien. We do bookmarks. We do postcards and everything. And we try and get those to the authors, especially over the last year. Of course, it's been very challenging with not being able to do any live events and go and do stuff. So it's all been online, which has been tough for us. We do, like Bookham. We would have been there. We were signed up to be there, but of course it didn't happen. And but we also do a lot of Comic-Cons, just because we have a big line of science fiction books, and those are just as big a blast because I've met some amazing stars that way. Barry Bostwick actually remembered me the second year because he came and stopped by our booth before GalaxyCon opened up. So, I've really, really missed getting out there, but I'm looking forward to this year getting back into the groove and everything, and do really appreciate Bookham being able to do this virtually. We'd started coming to Bookham back when it was up in Waynesboro, up in Virginia. We drove up there several years. There was one year it was down in Charleston. 1 year, they just did it 1 year. We went to that one too. So we really have enjoyed being part of Bookham and everything and the program, and really glad you guys were able to do this year.
Thank you so much. That was amazing information. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask about the publishing process in general, or just about any of the material presented?
I know I ran through it pretty fast. I always warn people, should warn up front, I am not from North Carolina. You can probably tell right away. I'm actually originally from Oregon, and yes, we do talk very fast up there. So I could take a 20-minute talk and get it done in less than 10.
That's perfectly fine. Any questions, anybody? Oh, okay. How long have you been in the publishing business?
I have been a publisher. We owned Dancing and Press for 13 years now. I had actually started as an author back in 2004, although I'd started writing years before. But as Dancing and Press was founded 13 years ago.
I have a question. Do you publish? I mean, and you may have covered this, but are there specific genres that you cover, or is it just how does that work?
Yeah, we have certain genres that and we have them all listed on our submission guidelines. And if you go right to our front page, dancinglemurpress.com, you'll see them listed. Science fiction, fantasy, middle grade, young adult, and a little bit of new adult, which is a little bit older than that. Some nonfiction, if it's inspirational, Christian fiction, and then we also do a little bit with, like I said, the middle grade and the young adult. And also with, I'm blanking, what do we do with thrillers? Sorry, I couldn't get that one out. It's like a little bit with the thrillers and mystery. Now, there's some stuff like Westerns and stuff like that we wouldn't ever get into. We're just not that, I try and stick with the genres I know how to promote.
Makes sense. That's good. And guys, those of you who are watching, we are recording the event, so her presentation will be available. I think it's great. I think the publishing process, I think everybody wants to write oftentimes, but then that publishing piece is, oh gosh, I've written all this great book. How am I going to publish? How am I going to get it out to the masses? So I think that's extremely important to have an insight into how the publishing side works. That's great. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
You guys print it there, and I'm like, no, send it out to a printer.
Right.
Printing presses lying around.
Absolutely. Well, this has been some great information. Thank you. I'm actually going to throw it over to Angela real quick while I get this last video up that we want to share. If she would kind of.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted to thank our sponsors again. The committee has done a big job of trying to flip this and pivot this year with the pandemic and make all of this work virtually. And I think we were up to like 35 plus participants at the highest attendance, which is wonderful. So we thank all of y'all for attending and helping to support and keep this event going. So Book'em's been going on about 10 years now, and we want it to grow every year, and hopefully we'll be in person and it'll be bigger next year. But I do want to thank our sponsors, Joan Bowen, Edward Jones, the Lumberton Visitors Bureau, Robeson County Arts Council, Robeson County Friends of the Library, Lumberton Rotary Club, the Carolina Civic Center, and we certainly could not have done it without all the help of Robeson Community College. They have hosted this event and just been able to provide so much technical support in changing it over to a virtual event. And we thank RCC for all of that.
Angela, we did have another question if she's still on. How can we get the titles mentioned today? And that's Mary Ellen, our librarian.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that may be for El Diane, but it also is probably for all authors. So, El Diane, can you talk about that? I know, can you guys kind of chime in about how we can get the titles that were mentioned today?
Well, through us, they're available anywhere for our titles, bookstores. For the audiobooks, it's anywhere on iTunes, Audible, and Amazon that you can get those. Plus, you can go to our website, which is dancinglemurpress.com, and order directly from us. And that way the author gets a little bit more money as well. But they're available any retail outlet.
And I know in terms of the other authors that presented today, you can also go to bookemnc.org, and we have all their links attached to their individual pages on that website. Actually, you can click on their actual link that will take you to an outside site to their actual websites. So we've tried also if you look on the YouTube channel that we've created, is there as well. So yes, please buy the books. That's the purpose. When will the recording of this event be made? Okay, that's a great question. As soon as I can figure out how to make it available, I'm going to make it available. I think it's something very simple because the recording comes to me through my email, and then I think I can just load it through the help of BizTools onto the Bookham website. So then you can go back and just view it at your leisure, especially if you've missed a particular author that you wanted to see. That's a great question, Gail.
Yeah,
Thank you for asking.
Rebecca, are you going to be able to show that last clip? I'll mention.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you ready. Yes, ma'am.
All right. If you aren't early on, we did mention that the Visitors Bureau, of course, our job is to positively promote Lumberton and Robeson County, and we showed a couple of great clips. This one is going to be a very short one that we're using for our website and for social media and other advertising. But we were very fortunate during the pandemic to have written several grants to promote Lumberton. So Rebecca's going to show this, and I hope y'all will be very proud of the work that's being done for this and other events.
Conveniently located along I-95, Lumberton, North Carolina is the ideal halfway point between New York and Florida. Just look for the red, white, and blue water tower and stop to relax, unwind, and linger longer in Lumberton.
Short and sweet, but linger longer in Lumberton.
I love that tagline.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a great tagline. Well, I'll let you close us out. You or whomever wants to.
I think
Well, I'd like to take
call.
a few minutes to thank everyone who has participated. This has been an exciting time for our Bookham event going virtual. I appreciate. I've been watching the presenters. Excuse me, not the presenters, the attendees, and taking a look at who's been coming and going. And I think we've had a good group today, and I'm really excited about the fact that people took the time to sit in on the Zoom. Want to thank Robeson Community College, thank our sponsors, and thank all of those who have participated in one way or another, either technically, our authors, our writers, our publisher. It's been an exciting day, and really pleased to be a part of something to promote Robeson County, Lumberton, and those who write so well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dincy. Yes, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed working on the Bookham Committee, and hopefully next year we'll be able to meet in person. That's the plan. All right. Thank you guys so much. Again, I'll do my best to post the video to the Bookham website and have it available for you there. Thank y'all so much for your time.
Thanks for all your work, Rebecca. Have
Absolutely.
a good day.
My pleasure.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
So much. Bye-bye.